Well, welcome to A1 Exterminators. I'm Jeff Weisberg. I'm the third generation of my family business, and we're here at our corporate office in Lynn, Massachusetts. Today we're going to go through a couple of topics of conversation: termite control, rodent control, and then we're also going to finish it up with everything you need to know about bedbugs. So why don't you follow me and we'll go talk about some more. Termites in New England are a very big problem, and what we find is that most homeowners and most business owners don't realize they have termites until they're already a big problem.
Termites in my basement. Whole lot of work going on.
So one of the big things that we see with homes that have termites, conditions that are conducive to having the pest. Condition of having wood and soil contact around the house, which means that you have part of your structure, whether it's a corner board or decking material that goes right into the ground, which is an available food source for termites to gain ease and accessibility into the home. When we're in a structure, that's when we're really kind of looking at all the different sill plates, joists, foundation structure, and we're looking for mud tubes. Termite swarmers are a couple of things that we look for, but also that you can look for yourself. Once we find that there's termites in a home, that's when we want to recommend a form of treatment.
Termites in my basement.
Today we're out on a residential site to take a look at a Centricon termite elimination system installation. As we're coming up to the house here, we have one of our technicians installing the Centricon system into the ground around the home. As you can see here, the station is flush in the ground, and inside the station we have an active bait tube in there. So when the termites forage and feed, which is typically in the top 12 to 18 inches of the soil, this is where they do all their foraging. So they find the station first, find the bait, and then they start feeding off of it, sending a signal to the other termites in the colony through pheromone trails that they have an active food source. And so then the termites come from the colony, again, feed on the station, bring it back, and it wipes out the colony, and no more problem solved. These stations all are placed here at specific intervals around the home, paying special attention to underground sprinkler lines, water mains, gas lines around the house. We don't want to do any damage to those, so that's why we survey the house ahead of time to make sure that there are no obstructions, or if there are, we're aware of it. But as you can see here, we get them in the mulch beds as well. And here we're coming on to Desmond, who's putting in a station. So as you can see, there's two ways to do it. He's using a hand auger here, which easily cores into the ground, and in goes the station. What Tyler's doing here is, now that he's opened up the station, we can look inside and see what's in there, because that's what everyone wants to know. And inside here is what we have. This is called a high density bait. This bait will last for many months, and in some cases up to a year or more in the ground, continually providing a food source for the termites. Even though this is a new technology and it's very weather resistant, we still want to check the home and the site frequently to make sure that if there is termite activity that we're aware of it and communicate that to the homeowner. Termite installation is fairly easy to install. This whole installation took about an hour to get done, but we always recommend do not try to take care of your termite problem yourself. Make sure you call a professional like A1 Exterminators so we can handle all your pest and termite needs.
It's a rat trap, and you've been caught.
We're going to talk a little bit about rodents. So rodents, as we know, whether you're living in the city in a very urban, congested environment, or in rural areas are also impacted by rodents. Like most pests, they don't discriminate as to what homes or businesses are going to invade, but there are some very similar characteristics that rodents typically always look for. And those are typically the same things that people need: food, water, shelter. How do you recognize that you have a problem? One of the first things is with a really thorough inspection. If you're having a rat problem, you're typically looking at rodent burrows or holes in the ground where rodents will go and nest, and they create an underground tunnel and burrow system in and around your home or a business, around a commercial dumpster. A lot of times we see them in the city in alleyways, and we also see them in flower beds and things of that nature. But anywhere that you have rats, you always want to look for rodent burrows. A couple other signs that can be for either mice or rats is you want to look for what we call rub marks. And when a rodent frequents an area, all the dirt and oil from their skin will typically rub off in that area. It kind of comes with a pretty funky smell, but you can always tell that rodents are active in this area. And then the other thing that is really the big telltale sign that most people realize is you find droppings. So all these, there are a few different things that you can look for to find out whether or not you have the problem. And then once we figure out that we have the problem, it's what do we do to fix it?
How are you doing?
Very good. How you doing this morning?
All right. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right. What pest are we dealing with today?
Well, we're not sure. I think we got rats or mice. Can you help us out?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mice and rats is my specialty, my friend. Absolutely. So what we're going to do now, we're going to look for some burrows in this back alley, which is quite common in the city of Boston, particularly in the North End, South End, downtown area, Newbury Street, Boylston Street, areas where there are many residences and restaurants clustered together. So let's go take a look. So right now we're just looking for burrows, anything leading into the gates or outside of the gates. Rats usually burrow in areas where they're not frequented too much. Okay. When you're looking for rats or any type of pest, you want to have a 3D vision. You want to up, down, side to side. That way you don't miss much, if any. Well. Now this to me looks like a rodent burrow used by a rat. As you can see, the indentation going into the ground, and the rats will burrow inside there. Who knows, we might have a rat inside there as we speak. Alright, I'm going to continue my inspection down this alley and make a note of where I found that burrow. Alright, looking pretty good. What is this? Some more burrows. Once again, you can see the indentation going into the ground. The rats will go inside here, dig their way inside here, go down, procreate, come back out looking for food, nested material, things of that nature. Probably a family. 6 to 10 pups usually come into a rat litter. So let's say 6 to 10 pups. We have another burrow over here. These type of burrows could lead into someone's home, someone's restaurant, someone's school. So that one in particular, we definitely have to pay extra attention to. Inspecting the alley, now we're about to look at a particular residence who's had a history of rat trouble. And immediately as I walk in, I see some burrows. There's one here to the brick, leading into the ground. There's another one over here by this tree. Loose wood here. I'm gonna pull up this wood and see what's going on. And what do you know? So what rats do, they burrow, and each tunnel is usually connected to one another. So what you gotta do, you gotta treat that particular burrow, and hopefully we get to all the rats. Now dusting is one method that we use, but another method that we will use in some type of alleys or exterior foundations is a rat bait station. And what we do, we put the bait inside the rat bait station. It's tamper proof, and we anchor it down so nobody can take it away, including pests.
And you've been caught.
We'll come back within the 1 to 2 weeks to check up on the traps that we set, the bait that we laid, and see if we see any dead rats back here, or if there are any new dead rats or new burrows.
So on our final segment, we're going to talk about what most people don't want to talk about, which are bed bugs. Bed bugs really have become, in the last 10 years, and a little bit more, depending on where you live, have really become a major pest of importance. And one thing people fail to realize is bed bugs have always been around. Bed bugs have been around since the beginning of time. When there was man in caves, there were bat bugs and there were bed bugs. And so we've always dealt with the pest, and up until really the onset of certain products that came into our market, DDT and chloridane and different things which are now banned, but really had a big impact on wiping out the bedbug population. And in about the last 10 years, we've seen a major resurgence in the United States, Australia, a lot of other developed countries, and now they're back, and they're back with a vengeance. Some of the things, some of the signs that you need to look for, especially if you travel, you always want to do a thorough inspection of wherever you're traveling to. If you're going to a hotel, you want to make sure you check your mattress and box spring and bugs. You're either going to see the bugs in the tufts and seams and folds of the mattress and box spring, or you can also see them evidence on the headboard. You can also see some black, what we call spotting or fecal matter on sheets and pillowcases. That's also a telltale sign. But the one thing that people don't realize is these pests come out at night while you're asleep and more or less inject you with an anesthetic and an anticoagulant so you never feel them. And they come and they feed off of you, have their meal, and then they go back to their hiding place. Say you've gone through and you've gone on your travels on a trip and you come home and a few weeks later you notice you might be getting bit or you start seeing some of these signs. Well, what do you do then? Don't panic. That's the first thing. Be very calm, and you want to call a professional.
Good morning, Gary Weisberg with A1 Exterminators. Today we're here, we're treating a 2-bedroom unit for bed bugs. We've got our 450,000 BTU unit heating up and pumping hot air through 2 insulated tubes into the second floor apartment. The temperature is already reading 180 degrees, and up in that unit it's going to be mighty hot. When we get done, there won't be anything alive.
We're up to about 83 degrees right now.
83, and it's only been running for a few minutes.
Yeah, just a couple minutes.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go upstairs and we're going to see if the bed bugs are starting to move around and see how the temperature's progressing.
Just be careful. I wouldn't lean against anything. I wouldn't sit down. I wouldn't touch anything. Bed bugs don't fly. They don't jump. So unless they crawl on you, you're pretty safe. So just be careful, but you'll be all right. Come on. Okay. So pretty much inside the unit right now, we have these sensors, and these here are wireless connected to this computer here, and they'll tell us the temperatures that we're dealing with. So as the unit heats up, we have these spread throughout. It will say, how much more, temperature we need in certain areas opposed to others. So our goal temperature, for a lethal kill would be 122 degrees. I like to listen for the screams, and I wish that I heard them more often because that's satisfying to me, but typically I don't hear them. All right, so pretty much we're just going to enter the unit. This room we haven't done yet, but you see they're starting to prep, trying to declutter things. They could just be hiding, they could be looking to move around. When they feel the temperature, they're going to come out running, so we want to make sure we have everything covered. This room is going to be the next one. Starting to get ourselves ready. Yeah, I mean, they have these giant plywoods and stuff underneath. I mean, underneath all that stuff, could be bugs, so we're going to have to move all this stuff around. It's a very large mattress and whatnot, so it's a lot going on in this room right now, but as we heat, like I said, we'll move things around to make sure that we get good temperatures. It doesn't look too bad as far as, level of infestivity. I mean, I've been to homes where they're just crawling up the wall. That's not the case here. But, I mean, one bug, a million bugs. Nobody wants to get bitten, eaten alive. So, we treat every unit, every home, like it's a high infestation. We want to just do the best we can to have 0 bugs. That's the number that we want.